Welcome to the 91st edition of the IWAR Gold Strategy Workshop. I'm Matt Riley. That's Mike Cook. He's the IWA guru. I'm the IWA novice. And we're here to break down the spring, right? Spring cycle
That's
of
it. Yeah.
action in gold. So if you've tuned in so far, you know that Iron and Steel did their thing. And we have a couple of questions from people we can talk about as well. So we'll bang those out, and we will be doing a how to win out of way. And I think next week sometime we're gonna do it before, but now we're gonna wait until we actually like have it all mapped out. But it'll be a shorter version and more kind of about terminology and understanding the mechanics of the game, so you can like play along and not be totally like what the hell, which is important because I think once you understand the basics, it all
Hmm.
starts flowing. Then it's a matter of just getting the figuring it out.
I think we can narrow it down. We can write down like 10 or 15 things that you could read, look at a chart, and you would do well.
Right.
I think we get it that close. So,
Yeah. So all right, so here we are, and for those of you with visual impairment, we will maximize this, or Mike will be hassled into maximizing it.
I'll throw
The
in another
national,
one.
you can see
There
the
we go.
national belt over my shoulder. Thanks to Scott Franklin for that one. That was a great gift, and the IWAR hoodie because I'm a nerd.
Got nothing here.
Yeah,
I got this PN News actually.
PN News, one of the unofficial wrestlers I ran the NWL that got crazy popular because they had him going like write music to make fun of everybody, and I just tried to do it like in the style of a song. And I don't know, it was back like when like Jake, Seth, Brad, those guys were in there. Tom, that's a good time in Wells. Some really good like talented people in there. So all right, so let's break it down as DX would say.
Yep. Okay, we'll start at the top. Uh, so the first two feds did absolutely nothing to help us. We expected that though.
Thanks, Johnny B.
Yeah,
Thanks, Tim.
it's we know it's going to be rare that they'll actually take away one of the two main drops when the cycle started looking like this.
All right.
So no big deal. What we do know though, so we're not going to use 29, 27. We're not going to use 29, 26 because those are the two from this, and they would have already been marked off anyway.
All right.
Last cycle it got us with the 26s,
Sons of
but
bitches.
but we said in the video
Bumpuses.
it was risky but rewarding, and so congratulations if anybody did it. But
Yeah, Larry. Who
yeah,
else had
he was
five
the only
ones?
one. I think he's the only league champion that had one, right?
Oh yeah, he racked up
Yeah.
like the elite and all that crap. Gold fed.
Then
Good for him.
then we started taking off the 4 cycles ago because
Right.
it's been at like 3% of the time. So 27, 26 is gone. Leaves us with 27s, 28, 26, 28, 27, 28s, and only one 29, 28. That's because of hole 25s, and then 46 and 8 was the 2 cycles ago 25s. So
Right.
pretty decent on the front. We're down to 11. Let's see. Last time the 29, 28s went, that would have been 6 cycles ago because you add one to this number the way it tracks.
Right.
22 on 28s, 9 on 28, 27, 5 on 28, 26, and 7 on the 27s. I would say I never like when a hold has 3 out of 4 eliminated. It's always going to be one of the 29s on the cycle where 25 is a 29 as well, but feels like it's too easy when it's one, and they never go with that one. So I
Always
don't
squeeze.
I don't think it's that one. It's a nice little option up here,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but I don't think it's that one. I don't think it's 28 because we know we're still. Oh, tell me the number again. Is it 35?
I think it's 35 and 34 or 34 and 30. It was 30 mids for both.
Yep.
Long ass time.
Yeah, 35. There it is.
There it is, 35.
So we'll get one at some point, probably late in the year, I feel, but a little risky to take that now. It's
Mm,
kind of like last cycle, though, where we're left with all these 28 options. So, I mean, you probably get one right, one wrong with it.
right.
But
But if it splits, you're gonna hurt.
yeah, yeah. So I don't think I would take it. I think I would focus in this section right here. Because also I don't like taking 27s out there, but again,
Okay.
that's personal. Could be rewarding again, like the 26s.
Ah, oh
You
no.
think they'll go back to back cycles with a
There's a
double
man
drop?
down. Oh,
Maybe. Maybe they'll go back to back, but
all right.
I feel like it's happened a few times where they've done those back to back, some even three in a row, but don't think it's like anything consistent. Like it won't go 26s to 27s, but yeah, I feel like you need to kind of focus on this middle section for your best chance to hit. And then we highlighted over here because 8 was one of the 2 cycles ago. Let's see. The last time we had the 3 in a row. Yeah, this says there's a good chance that it'll be a yes now since we've done 4 out of 5 as no's.
Right.
You look at a lot of those stretches. Yeah, see. So maybe you can lean
There it
into
is.
this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
There's one way to pare it down.
yeah, I think so. So now the good thing is before we even eliminate any of these, because of what we're about to do on the back, we're actually
Right.
going to start with 44 options, which is typically about where we end the video.
Yeah.
The reason we're so low on our back options, the 43s, we had hold 90.
Right.
So we're going to assume that we use 90
Yep.
and we eliminate 61.
Go to hell.
So that'll take our backs from 16 to 8.
Ooh.
But then this cycle, we're going to lean into using a 42 instead of just guessing between them
Mm-hmm.
because the first 2 feds both had a 42. If
Follow
you
the
look at
trend, kids.
Yeah, if you look at when the first 2 were the same, the last like I think it was 28 times or something like that, something ridiculous that they were the same. Gold follows and the whole cycle does. Like, let's just go
Remember when
down.
42s ran for like a while? It was like 10 in a row or something like that. It was ridiculous.
Here.
Yes, that punching. What do I do? 41s for 42s. But
Yeah.
nope, 42s.
Yeah, remember we had for a while where just whatever it started with, you just went the whole cycle, and
Right.
then once they started, mixing it up, it was still every time these 2 are the same. You see right here, all 41s, all 41s, all 42s. So we're just going to assume that happens. It'd be something that's not been done in 2 or 3 years, maybe even a little longer if it, was a 41. So if they get you, you should accept that, but go with the 42. And
Johnny B.
so that would be 85 or 65 right there.
Right. Oop. There it is.
And then eliminate these. So then you got to pick between 67 and 62 here. And this is going to be the tougher part, I think, on the point flow. They mixed it up pretty good last cycle on if the 41, or I'm sorry, the 45 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got a few people where 90 was dropping to 43, and this was one of the feds that did that.
Do you notice when that happens, right? Do you
I
notice
do.
that like
There's not. I don't think it's consistent that if you see it in one Fed, assume it happens in the next. That typically gets you to miss the second one.
all right.
But I don't know. it happens sometimes to where you'll be paranoid about it, but um, yeah, this is a tough spot to be in because it probably is a 50-50. So we'll probably see some non-perfect point flows on the back.
Oh
Uh,
boy.
you see, we had one stretch here where the twos stayed consistent, but for the most part,
All right.
it's not that common that multiple twos on this side would go. So I think it's probably a little safer to put 63 as your 44, but know that you could easily flip that and maybe
Right.
flip it as right to give yourself a little better chance if if more people are hitting. Like it could go the other way, but yeah. So that's one decision there. Then pick which 42 and pick which 44 to 45, and yeah, that's four back. So you got 67, 60, or yeah, 67, 85, 67, 65,
Mm-hmm.
62, 85, 62, 65. That's it. So
That easy.
pretty easy. I
How
doubt,
dare you?
I doubt I'd eliminate one of those four. I'd probably try to use all four and focus on try to pick one side of the.
I just picture like John B. watching this being like, and I took that personally. That's right. Um, so the questions we had were one was about the 25, up or down, and the other was 42s. We talked about that. And then the other question was, and I'll read it verbatim here. Let me just pull it up. Let's see here. It comes from NWL star Gary Morris. And he says, question for the show tonight. Are there any more advanced strategies in picking singles move sets other than what is normally covered on the show? So, I had mentioned about I put a lot of thought into the 910 placement because
Mhm.
if you have a 500 501 and you have a 30 or 29 or even 28 at 9 or 10 in the hold listing, if you
It's
will,
rare that you'll get that. Yeah,
that's
yeah, it's rare that you'll win with a 28 even.
right. I mean, you can luck out, but um generally speaking, I try to think about what holds I think will be going to 26 points, and that's where I load them in, and I mix that up. And then what I did last time, Scott, these are the two things I'll do, and I'll let Mike chime in because he knows more than I do. The other thing I do is I find that if I settle on a back five, like last time it was 73, 63, and I forget what I had, because I had a 500 with Vagabond. But
Mhm.
what I missed was I missed his 13 spot was a 43, not a 44. Um, so that was close, but again, a lot of my scores overall were higher because I stuck with the same setup, but that also hit. I've done it in the past where I've had the back five be almost identical for everybody and not have a good time. So
Mhm.
that can play into it. So what do you think of your more advanced approaches? No pressure.
Yes. So as far as like combinations, this is literally every combination. And then you're right. There's a couple of things to look at. So you always want to put your 44 here, your 43 here, whatever your 42 or 41 that you're using, put that here. Outside of there's like one scenario where you don't put it there, but it's not worth doing because you're probably going to trick yourself in the end.
Right.
Um, but then right here, this is the first step in trying to get everything, and that's of the 45s from the previous cycle. You got to try to get those in the correct order because literally when you go to point flow, that's the first one. It starts at 15, works its way back. So oftentimes you'll lose right there. But you're right on hold 10. So a couple things that you can think of with that. So you don't want a 30, you don't want a 29. Um, and so what you usually can do, it's a little risky sometimes, but like a cycle like this where 29 or 25 is a 29, That other 29 is probably pretty good to use because it can't be, well, it's not likely anyway. It's not going to be a 30 because hole 25 will be a 30.
Mm.
And it should go down. So at worst, it's a 28, right?
Yeah.
So when hole 25 is a 29, you can usually use the other one and you'll have a pretty good 10 spot on your strat. Um, Same thing usually goes when hole 25 is 30. That second one oftentimes won't be a 29 either. It'll be a 28 or less. So the easiest way is probably use whatever is the opposite of hole 25 if that's in your strat. The other one gets to be a little riskier, but if you try to guess which of the previous cycles 25s is going to be the weaker of the two, one's going to be a 28 29, the other
Right.
one at best a 28 again. So I think I would recommend the easiest way for you to try to just guess because it's 10 holds, tough to guess, everyone, right?
Right.
Use one of the 25s or the 29 or 30 that's opposite of hole 25. That's the easiest way to have a decent 9-10
Sure.
on a. So got to get this right first. And for the most part, the answer is put the previous cycle's 44 in hold 14. And you see if you did that every cycle instead of trying to guess, you'd be right most of the time, right?
Right. Yeah.
So typically, if I'm not for certain on that, I'll always put the 45 that was previously 44 here. And then, like I said, just juggle around the opposite of hold 25 on a 30 or 29, and then the last cycle's 25s, one of them. That's the easiest way to just put one in and start to improve on point flow. So
Now we in the past have had I think it's 2019 is the last time it happened. I want to say it's when it happened last. It's probably more recent than that. But when the IWA does a reset and essentially one of the 25 holds, or one of those 26s goes down to like 24, and one of the 24s goes up, and they kind of introduce a new hold into the mix, if you will. But it's been a long, long time. Almost
yeah, I got it
two,
marked on here when there's one. It's in 2019. I think you're right on 2019. I don't see it wrote anywhere else.
which is crazy. It's like that's 6 years ago. It's like six
Yeah.
years.
So,
Part of me is
well,
just like, not yet.
you say that, but at
No.
this point, I feel like you can just say that's not happening because we remember this classic, right? Remember that?
Oh, when they the three feds at 29,
Yeah,
26.
yeah.
Oh my God.
That was like two
The
years ago.
anger and the
Yeah,
I'm quitting.
yeah.
That's it. I hate the IWA. It's not fair. Woo.
They got some emails.
Like,
I won the U.S. title that cycle, so they're not
cumulative
going
vacation the next week. I'm on vacation.
to. But they haven't done anything at all since that. And even before that, it was like a year or two. But it used to be like a once a year thing. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't even have a thought in my head of something like that happening. And if it
Well,
does,
I
it's
was
okay.
gonna say the other side of that is that when that happens in the past, we always had a two Fed head start in gold because we
Yep.
saw it happen in iron, you saw it
It's
happen in steel. Like, okay, here it comes. And I remember I had a
that was the
501
first
with Adam.
curveball because it happened
Yeah,
gold, diamond, jade. So it's kind of out of nowhere. But
yeah, I had a
another
501 with
one
Adam Cash that cycle, and I was like,
would
I
have
guessed
known.
right, but I had no flow. I stink.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, all right. So there we have our top 10 here, and when you say it like, well, all you got to do is out of those 10 holds is pick the two that aren't, out of those 12 holds, the two that aren't going to be any good.
Yep.
Oh, well, that's not too hard. It is.
Percentage wise, it's not bad.
Yeah. The really hard part's going to be figuring out what pro athlete wore 91 as a number for the
It's Rodman, wasn't it? Was he
was he
91?
91?
90? Didn't he have a no? He was 91 because wasn't he 10 on the Spurs and Pistons, and then he went to the Bulls. He was 91 because it's 9+1. Is
Oh, jeez.
that right?
That sounds right.
I don't know why I would remember Like that's, but I feel like that was something.
Did you watch the ESPN documentary about the Bulls when during the pandemic?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was so good. I felt like everyone was watching that because it was really well done. Um, I mean, I always say too, you forget how good Jordan was. Like, I mean, not forget, but like
yeah.
you don't like you're like, oh my God, that guy was such an assassin. Anyways, so here we have our options, folks. So if you're gonna go the 25 route, you get the eights and 46, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be
Right here, 5 options, four
yeah.
backs, so 20 options technically. So if you dive in on that side, you can cover half that if you're in 2 leagues.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I
Like I
mean,
said, I feel like you'd have a tougher time cutting any of these four. So probably try to figure out a way to cut this down to
yeah,
whatever you need to. But yeah,
man,
that's pretty much it.
yeah. And in this cycle coming up is we're getting really deep into the tournaments. I think the Morano is going to be the semifinals. The Johnny B Cup still has like 3 more rounds to go or 4 more rounds to go, so it's a slug. But we did start signups for the summer events to get that rolling. And the other way emailed me a couple times about, again, some players might not be, fans of social media or big on electronics, but some people are off the grid, so to speak. So some of the players who were, play by mail, literally, were asked about, hey, how do I get in this event? 'Cause I want to ask now so I can get in on it. So I'm gonna try to start really getting better about reaching out to players who are off the grid. They're not on social media, or not on Facebook, or not on email even. Um, email's pretty standard these days, but some people still don't have it, or whatever, and that's fine. Normally it would be like, what's to worry about? But if you're like me and you've ever gone to Amazon to look for like, I don't know, a necktie, and now you get 30,000 necktie ads. It's like a friend of mine who worked in advertising made a good point because he said he bought a toilet seat once and then he got hammered by toilet seat ads. He's like, I've already got the seat.
Yeah.
You should be figuring out if I have a seat, maybe I want to buy the little thing for the floor or a plunger or whatever. Why he's trying to sell me more toilet seats? I already got this. And I've always felt that was like one of the slips in the AI system, I guess.
Mhm.
But whatever. Um, like we said, we'll probably do that show next week. And that again, it's more for players who are new, but you can watch and refresh. Other things that are going on besides the events, I'm working on organizing the Super Show, which will be a really fun kind of extracurricular activity. Um, I'm going to try to tweak, if I can find the time, the BRL 500th Super Issue that I have in the IWAR homepage, and add more to that, and then kind of add some more stuff as far as 40th anniversary type stuff. So we'll see what we can do. But as always, you can send your questions, comments, suggestions, everything to us. You can comment below. If you notice anything, like people before were saying, like, oh, it wasn't the font wasn't big enough, I couldn't see. Well, we started be more aware of that. So feel free to let us know. We'll try to fix it or make it better. We always try to make it better if we can. We hope these help. I wanted to say, I don't think I mentioned it last time, but the NWL a few cycles ago won the
Yeah.
highest strategy in the game. And that's
The
never
first
been
one
done.
ever.
NWL's never done that.
Awesome.
So really, really well done by the guys down there, Jimmy and Michael and Todd, and all those guys really putting out good scores. It's impressive.
Is that this cycle they get their matches?
No, it was last cycle
Last cycle.
because I forgot to send stuff in, and I was like, "Oops,"
Yeah.
but whatever. That's right. My guy's a schmo. I don't think what else is going on. I think you said lost drops are next cycle.
Yeah. Yeah. So if
So
you want to spend some of your imaginary money to take some losses off your record,
right,
they actually doubled it so you can get up to 40 for the same price that you typically get the 20. So
which
yeah,
it was. We were joking
depends on
in
what
the
your value, but you have the option.
we were joking in the SOS chat earlier that we thought you can go from 34th rank to 32nd.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, I would say again, it's one of those things you can do what you want. It's imaginary money. I know personally, I only have one of my wrestlers who has like a really high amount of imaginary money. Everyone else is kind of like schmo. Uh, But it's a thing that if you want your record to steadily to look better, you can do that. Some guys can get, zero losses that way. So it looks kind of neat as a record. But yeah, whatever floats your boat. And I got to figure, what's the summer one? Imagine or is it the state wrestling?
State is also in the route up. It's
Oh, is it?
I
Okay.
think next cycle they'll say, and they said it had a really good sign up bonus. Now, last year it gave you 40 wins. Is that right?
I think that's what it was. It was
Which is
something really
incredible
like,
for 50 cents. Like that makes no sense. So if they do anything close to that, or they have one with money, I think you got, was it 100,000 or something?
yeah, we
Yeah,
gave that
all those are great. So
we were giving that away grief about
the
uh
ties, yeah,
the
the ties was a fun
ties.
one. Because I'm like, what do they do?
Johnny B was at the bar. Hold on, wait, I got it. I got it. Draws. We'll take draws off. Dude, so good. Oops, that's all right. Yeah, like I said, it was a kind of funny one, but um, remember, you're always trying to have fun with the game, so any kind of fun stuff you can come out with. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I think there's no pay-per-views this cycle, finally. I feel like we had like pay-per-views 3 cycles in a row. Um, yeah, so if you want to add questions or comments, do it in the comment section below. You can like and subscribe, although I don't really do that many videos anyway, so whatever. And we'll see you guys in what, 3 weeks? No,
Yep.
next week.
Sweet. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. And have a good week.
See ya.
All right. Bye.